My name is Michelle Ferreri. I am the Member of Parliament for Peterborough-Kawartha. I'm also the Shadow Minister, or critic, as many people know it, for Families, Children and Social Development. Why did I run for political office? Great question. I think a lot of people have the same answer, and you want to fix something is usually it. In my case, I would say it was a community effort, my family. It was never a long-term goal. I always loved being on the other side of analyzing politics and watching politics, but to be on the inside was never what I thought I wanted to do. However, when your community kind of comes to you and says, we want you to be our voice, you say, okay. And obviously I have a key passion in mental health, children's mental health, and I wanted to be a part of a system where we could make it better. What has been my proudest accomplishment during my time? I've only been an MP for a short stint when we record this, so I was elected in 2021. It's challenging when you're in opposition. So in opposition, you're not able to make as much change as in government. So they tell me. I can't say because I haven't been in government yet. I think it is a very slow world, and it's very hard to make fast change. But I think when you're able to elevate someone's voice who otherwise can't speak up or be heard, that's a very big responsibility. It's really nice when people can come up to you in the grocery store or message you and say, thank you for saying out loud what we feel, thank you for doing what you do. And then on a small level, I'm gonna give you multiple answers, the casework that we do. So a lot of people come into our office and they are struggling with accessing services. And so being able to help them is really important. And then in committee work, when we do committee, we're able to invite witnesses when we're studying certain things. And I've been able to invite people that I've had the chance to work with in my life and in my career who are able to tell Canadians and all of Canada things that I know will help, and in particular, mental health, self-regulation, those kinds of things. So that feels like you're moving the needle a little bit when you can elevate those voices. What motivates you to go to work every day? You want to achieve better, right? You want to see things better. There's a lot of people. We represent, as members of parliament, we can represent upwards of 120,000 people. In this time right now, you're seeing a lot of distress, the cost of living. Younger people are worried about their future. What will I do for a job? Will I be able to afford a house? It is our responsibility to try to make life easier for people so that they don't have to worry as much, to make a country where things are more affordable, more attainable, and that you don't give up hope. So that's a pretty big motivator, I would say. There's a lot of things I learned after becoming an MP. I wasn't as familiar with the procedures in the House of Commons. I will tell you a little funny story. In grade 7, a lot of students get to go to Parliament Hill as their big class trip, or grade 8. I never went to grade 8. I was in a split grade 7-8 class, and I skipped from grade 7 to grade 9. Excuse me. But in that year, we were supposed to go to Parliament Hill and go to the House of Commons. And I got in trouble because I talked too much. I talked too much in class. I was always talking. And so I'd never, ever been inside of the House of Commons until the day that I was elected and brought up here for orientation. And that was my first time walking in, and I laugh because the irony is I wasn't allowed to go the first time because I talked too much. And now I get to go every day because I talk too much. So I learned a lot because I didn't know a lot of the procedure. I didn't know a lot of the formalities of how the House of Commons ran or committees ran, and all of the sort of intricacies of the politics and the party. So I have learned a lot since being elected, and there's a lot more to learn. One of the things I am most proud about, and I didn't answer that in the one question you asked me, was our Status of Women Committee. We're a pretty remarkable group of primarily women. We do have one man on our committee, but we work across party lines, a lot of social issues, and in particular murdered and missing Indigenous women. We were able to do a lot of important work across party lines. I work with a lot of different MPs, especially when we're talking about mental health and addiction. This is nonpartisan issues that impact everyone. So often, very often, almost daily, you have to communicate with other MPs. What can we be doing? How do we find that common goal? Under my file, I work under childcare, so that's really important too. So yeah, I work with, you have to be able to work with others. You're not always going to agree, but you can usually find a common ground. The biggest challenges with democracy today, social media. So all of, if there's young kids watching this, it is very, very challenging to have an actual conversation on social media. It is often a place where we word vomit. We throw out our thoughts, or we sometimes say things that we shouldn't say, and then we can't take them back. You can never unsay something. And social media isn't a back and forth. It's a spew. There's lots of good about social media. It does bring a lot of people together too. But we have to be really, really careful that we're not using social media to have important conversations, because we won't be able to compromise or understand the other person's perspective when we can't see them. What gives me hope for the next generation? Well, they're smarter. They're smarter than us. The next generation is able to, I mean, they're in a completely different world than even I am. I'm 43, and their ability to understand technology, innovation, to figure things out is much, much better than my generation. So I think the hope is that we have to listen to them. They just seem to be a lot more emotionally aware too of their feelings and who they are. And I just think they're going to be great. I think they're going to be great leaders, but I think we have to help. I think we have to make sure they know that we're going to do everything we can to make life accessible for them. Not easier, because you need grit. You need the grit. It's not about being easy, but it has to be, know that you have something that you will be able to achieve it. If I could share a piece of advice to my 16-year-old self, everything weird about you is what is great about you. Everything that you feel that makes you different or not fit in is actually what is great about you.